Alright, so I will give some backstory here. The setting is Theo and Sally going over the invitation list for Theo's 65th birthday soiree 20 years from now in Tasmania.
Theo!
So got it.
Theo!
It's okay, stay.
Theo!
Glasses or the cell phone?
Theo, a little help here, darling. Have you been ignoring me?
I could ignore you no more than the flowers ignore the dew. Is Ben here? Or until the next rerun of Mythbusters comes on, whichever comes first.
Well, I can't find my glasses. A little help?
Your glasses are where you set them down in the kitchen when you watched me make lunch.
Oh, right then. So, we talked at lunch. It's time to go over the invite list.
Ah, yes, the illustrious list.
Who would you have? Who would have thought that we'd make it to putting together invitations for your 65th birthday soiree?
Certainly not that last doctor who stuck his thumb up my...
Theo!
Well, it could have been worse. He could have been trying to hitch a ride.
Theo!
So do we have interesting and entertaining people to invite, or will it be just the usual crowd of miscreants?
Well, have you met anybody interesting and entertaining this past year?
Not in the circles we travel in.
Then it's the same bunch that we've been having for years, and you'll love it.
Of course I will, dear. You always know best.
Oh.
It's always been a little harder sending out the invite since we retired at Tassie, but I think for this occasion we might get a few people to make the trek.
Provided immigration lets them in.
Thumbing through address book. So, let's see. I suppose we should start with the usual groups. Let's try to track down the Chara team. The old Chara team!
Now, there's a group that may have had a hard time getting passports. After how things ended up on the mountain and all.
Did you ever have any suspicion that the NSF was going to declare the effort was a total loss and actually confiscate the Chara equipment?
What really blew me away was how they hired the same helicopter guy and managed to take the telescopes away while we were away on the last Chara Science Week outing. What a wanker.
Surely you and Hal must have at least considered that having the meeting in Barbados was a little excessive. A giant red flag for those sorts in Washington, perhaps?
Look, we'd gotten away with Paris, Manhattan,
Wow.
Marseilles, Cancun. We didn't expect it to be noticed. And besides, the university there was opening a physics department and wanted to dabble in astronomy.
Well, you know as
Which
well
I'd
as
like to do myself.
you know as well as I do that their university consisted of a dozen Yale grad school dropouts who spent their time surfing stoned.
As I did in grad school. Yeah, they had some great weed. I didn't write this. And they lent us their boards too. It was great.
Right up until you got home and found your delay lines had been auctioned off by GSU to Chris Hanoff. It broke Nils's heart.
Oh, he landed on his feet. He loves touring now with Annette and the orchestra. I'm just happy that Judith never succeeded in her quest to hunt me down and make me pay.
Well, you have Laszlo to thank for that. They bought that nice little place up in Oregon and opened up a free-range chicken farm, and you've been enjoying retirement. We are going to invite them, and you will play nice.
Yeah, okay.
My address for PJ seems to have gotten a return to sender last time around.
Yeah, we all lost track of her after she went to law school and went corporate. I'm not sure what she wants anything to do with us anymore.
Do you suppose people want to play some music?
I hope so, that's always quite enjoyable.
I hope that we can get Casper to come. He's always been a hit since his very first soiree. Remember that? He hardly knew anyone, yet he got up and he sang and hung it all out there. Good on him.
And conveniently enough, I heard he just made parole.
Good on him.
Do you have Tom Schneider's address, love?
Well, it's a Dropbox, since he took up residence on that cruise liner. So hopefully it'll get to him in time. At least he's well practiced since he's been part of the lounge band.
Don't forget Evo either.
I'll just include it with Tom's invite. He's on the same boat. You know, that situation sounds a lot like a Golden Girls meets the Wedding Crasher.
More like Old Couple meets Dawn of the Dead.
Theo.
Make sure Amy gets an invite too. Funny that, we always send her the Christmas newsletter, and it always gets returned to us saying, not at this address. But I know it's right, and it's smeared with Jell-O.
Oh, that's just the pranksters at the daycare for retired JPLers that she now runs. They've all gone mad and senile. Thinking about the glory days before the lab stopped flying space missions.
Sim. Speaking of which, any other former JPL rank and file to send invites to?
Oh, of course. Let's see. Here's Renault. Of course, he's moved off to NASA headquarters now.
Ah, yes, in charge of Hubble servicing Mission 8. Captain Robert Ligon is still in Pasadena, at the lab, still working on solar-powered motorhomes. Another one of President Gore's bright ideas. Let's make camping more eco-friendly and get NASA to do it.
Oh. And Mark Colavita is completing his astronaut training in Houston.
We always joked that he'd get sent up with Sim. Who would have thought the boffins in DC would take that one seriously?
Oh, it'll be an adventure. He never gets out of the office, so this will force him.
Have you heard from Andrew or Michelle since she got him to move back to Minnesota with her?
Yes, a letter showed up from yesterday, complete with pictures of their new hog farm.
This is a letter with photo. Charming. I hope that's dirt smeared on her face.
Oh, we can all hope.
Brad should be able to come if he's between producing episodes of Geeks Gone Wild.
Well, now, there's a business empire the world could do with. Really successful, of course.
And of course the Luckies crowd. How are we for addresses there?
Well, let's see. Martin and Melanie have their brood up in Santa Clarita. It's a nice place since he won that teaching award.
And those robot patents didn't hurt either. I hear he's filthy rich. Good thing too, with the 5 children all still living at home. Didn't think that was legal nowadays. Oh, you've got an address for Mandy and Ben, right?
Yes, thought it'd be a hard sell to get them to come. She's downright busy now that she's running an Intel sweatshop in Tijuana. Ben tells me she's getting an unnatural delight in cracking the whip down.
Sina and Brandy see them occasionally when they're in town. That theatre hall design business of theirs takes them all over the world. I had no idea they had a Shakespeare company in French Guiana.
So anyway, here are the addresses for Anna, Boyd and Deb, Jason, Peter, Raphael, Robert, Sean, Mike, Michelle. Oh, right, I need to scratch that last one out. Michelle was killed. I had that freak accident during the marshmallow factory tour. How awful.
Don't forget Tom Finn. He should be able to sneak into town. He's wanted in 5 states.
Oh, yes, but it's only paternity suits. Cheeky bastards.
Speaking of cheeky bastards, there's of course Gerard and his ever-suffering bride Stephanie. He hasn't got her pregnant again.
No, but keep in mind, if they show up, they'll bore everyone silly with another silly episode on the stage.
Well, God forbid they sing.
One can only hope. Anyway, these all seem in order. Shall we go and have a scotch on the porch, darling?
Sounds delightful, darling. We didn't like this.